Harry Theoharis is from the ruling New Democracy Party. He explained why the government believes the measure is necessary.
The government has seen that the most vulnerable of our society are the over 60. Those are the ones that are filling the hospital beds and, of course, comprise the bulk of the grim statistics of the deaths, on one hand. And on the other hand, the landscape with the new variants, with the Omicron variant, is shifting again. So nobody knows how things are going to change in the next few months.
Prime Minister Mitsotakis has said this isn't a punishment, but when you're fining someone €100 a month, it feels a bit like a punishment, doesn't it?
Well, any mandate has to be supported by some kind of fine in order to ensure that everyone complies. Not of the €7,000 that we've seen in Austria for not getting vaccinated, or the €1,000 for not wearing masks in Italy in the public transport system. They are fines that are meaningful without being overly harsh.
And why tackle a particular age group? Why not say it's mandatory for everyone?
There's the issue of ensuring that we protect the most vulnerable. 9 out of 10 people in sick beds and our ICUs are from that age group. They pay a very much disproportionate price in terms of the hospitalizations and the deaths and the grim statistics. So we have decided to limit it to those people that are mostly affected by the disease.
But why would you choose this rather than a vaccine passport, the system, say, that they have in France? Because arguably it's younger people who go out more, it's younger people who are more at risk of spreading the disease. Perhaps they don't get as ill, but in a sense that you're targeting older people.
Yes, the issue is, of course, not necessarily the spread of the disease. For that, we do have a vaccine passport. I mean, people are not allowed to go indoors and eat at restaurants in Greece, and they have to be either tested or vaccinated if they eat outside in the sort of open-air cafes and restaurants. So we have already imposed those kind of restrictions, but we feel that we have to take quick, swift action because the Omicron variant is very, very likely that it will shift the landscape again. So we don't want to be caught off guard like, when Delta came.
Is this a reflection of a failure of government messaging? I mean, I think it's estimated there are more than 500,000 over 60s who haven't been vaccinated in Greece. So actually, have you just failed to convince them of the importance of this?
The messaging is a very complicated matter. We have tried positive feedback by giving €150 to young people to get vaccinated. We have tried restrictions. We have tried messaging with a very, very strong campaign. But as you can imagine, there is still always a constituency, and this is not only a Greek phenomenon. There's a small but strong constituency that's resisting, and we feel that at least the most vulnerable of that constituency has to be protected by compulsory vaccination.
So if you haven't been able to persuade everybody to get a vaccination, how are you going to be able to get the message to everybody to make sure they know to do this? And who will be exempt? What if people are vulnerable? What if they have an illness?
Yes, there will be some exceptions if people have a medical condition that a doctor signs off that they should not be vaccinated on one hand. And on the other hand, we create the economic environment that is pushing most of the people. Already we've seen a huge uptake in vaccinations.
Is it, though, saving lives at the cost of people's civil rights? I mean, health is an area where, in general, personal choice is seen as quite an important thing. We know that smoking kills people, but we don't ban it.
That's why we are not extending this to everyone, and that's why we are keeping a balanced view in terms of the size of the fine in order to not be overly strict and forceful.
Is this just a failure, then, of government, a failure not just of the Greek government, but governments in general, a failure, in a sense, to reach people and a recognition that the trust in governments is very low?
There's the fact that the trust in government is low. If I may say, Greece has fared better than average. I'm not saying it's a best case, but better than average than other European countries in that respect. And one of the reasons is that we have trusted the experts and we have brought the experts to the fore and tried to be as transparent as possible. But there's no panacea, there's not a silver bullet that can restore this trust. But if anything, Greece is coming out from 10 years of the shattering of the trust in governments because of the financial crisis. And we're coming out 2 years after this pandemic in a better position than before in terms of the trust of government. And part of that is because we have been very forthcoming to the people and explained what we're doing and why.
Harry Theoharis from Greece's ruling New Democracy Party.